You're watching The Savera and I'm Shefali. US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping met today in the South Korean port city of Busan, marking their first in-person encounter since Trump's return to the White House earlier this year. The long-awaited meeting, coming amid rising trade tensions and geopolitical rivalry, is expected to address a wide range of issues, from tariffs and technology exports to regional security and the global balance of power. Before the meeting, Trump took to his social media platform Truth Social, posting, "Very much looking forward to my meeting with President Xi of China. It will take place in few hours, President DJT." Now, Trump's Asia tour, which included earlier stops in Japan and other Southeast Asian countries, has focused on strengthening trade partnerships and reinforcing regional defense cooperation. His meeting with Xi follows a period of renewed friction over tariffs, semiconductor export controls, and China's tightening of rare earth exports, all of which have disrupted global supply chains. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One, Trump said he might discuss NVIDIA's advanced Blackwell AI chips with Xi, a comment that raised concerns in Washington. Analysts warned that easing chip export controls could allow Beijing to close the technological gap with the US in artificial intelligence. Rush Doshi, a senior fellow at the Council of Foreign Relatives, noted that such a move could dismantle the export control regime on AI chips, just as Beijing builds on its dominance in rare earths. The meeting comes on the heels of framework trade agreement reached earlier this month in Malaysia between top US and Chinese officials, including Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Vice Premier He Lifeng. Now, the deal reportedly included provisions in TikTok's US operations, China's resumption of soybean purchases, and a one-year delay in new export controls on rare earth materials. China negotiators Li Ziping described the Malaysia talks as candid and in-depth, confirming that both sides have reached a preliminary consensus. Days later, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Wing and US Secretary to State Marco Rubio reaffirmed the importance of bilateral engagement during a phone call. Today, Trump and Xi met a Narmora, a reception held inside a South Korean Air Force based in Busan. Smiling to the cameras, Trump took to reporters, "We are going to have a very successful meeting," before jokingly adding, "But he is a very tough negotiator." That's not good. At the core of the summit is a potential deal under which China would suspend its planned tightening of rare earth export controls for 1 year, while the US would scrape a proposed 100% tariff on China imports set to take effect on November 1. Although few analysts expected the summit to fully end the long-running trade war, even a partial agreement could provide much-needed stability to global markets. The US and China has exchanged multiple rounds of tariff in recent years, at one point reaching as high as 145% tariff on Chinese goods and 125% on American exports, before being partially rolled back following a temporary truce in May. Trump has also hinted that he may reduce phenyltale-related tariffs in return for China's cooperation in curbing the export of prosecure chemicals used in its production. "I think they are going to help us with the fentanyl situation," he said. Now, beyond trade, today's discussion are expected to touch upon broader regional security concerns, including North Korea's advanced nuclear weapon program, tensions in the Taiwan Strait, and Chinese territorial claims in the South China Sea. However, Trump appeared to downplay the Taiwan issue before the arrival in Busan. He said, "I don't know that we'll even speak about Taiwan." He may want to ask about it, but there's not that much to ask about. Taiwan is Taiwan. Analysts say the Trump-Xi meeting could set the tone for US-China relations in the coming months. While both leaders are expected to defend their national interests firmly, the dialogue first itself is seen as a cautious step towards de-escalation after years of strained ties. As the two leaders sat down in Busan, the world watched closely, not just what arguments might emerge, but for signals of whether Washington and Beijing are finally ready to stir their relationship away from confrontation and towards cautious cooperation. That's all for now on this update. Stay tuned to The Savera. Download the app for social media platforms.